Hi there, this is Lee, and you're listening to another episode of In the Moment, a series of impromptu conversations about life, the Gurdjieff work, and many other things. And so what are we going to talk about today? You've probably looked at the title of this and said, World Number Zero. What kind of crazy bullshit is he up to now? And so I'm going to have a bit of a talk about numerics and the Gurdjieff work and the way that the Gurdjieff work came into the Western world back at the beginning of the 20th century. So bear with me, folks, because it's a bit of a conversation. When Gurdjieff brought his work to Russia in the teens of the early 20th century, the Age of Enlightenment was wrapping up its impact on society in the West, and the age of industrialization was upon everyone. And of course, factories were being built. And one of the big subjects, by the way, being discussed at that time was machines and whether or not man was a machine. So you see, Gurdjieff's contention that man was a machine was actually a very cleverly adapted trope that was very current at that time. In the higher levels of society, everybody was asking the question. And in case you're wondering about it, the culmination of that argument, go to the Detroit Institute of Art and see Diego Rivera's great series of murals on the question of whether or not man is a machine. It's probably one of the greatest pieces of 20th century art, and perhaps the art of any century, because it asks so many brutal questions about machines and men. Anyway, the point being that what happened during the Enlightenment was that human beings began to put numbers on everything. And whereas that had been the domain, more or less, of engineers and scientists for many thousands of years, it began to spread everywhere. And numbers give us the illusion that we can control things because they do a pretty good job of that in some cases. The difficulty with it is that the minute you begin numbering things, you've set up a structure that you think you understand, and you've explained things that you think you can explain. And so then you start using the numbers as tools to get things and to make things happen. And as I facetiously said to my wife this morning while we were walking the dog, we get to a point where we're saying to ourselves, well, if I could just get some more of that hydrogen-12, I'd be all set. Oh, do we do that? Oh, yeah, we do. It's a very dangerous thing. And so when people start talking about hydrogen-12 and hydrogen-24 and world 12 and 24 and so on, and they do that around me a lot in certain circles, although not so much at the Gurdjieff Foundation, that kind of language isn't even